Brene Brown has a line everybody quotes. Choose courage over comfort because you can't do both. Good line. Wrong fight. I'm not here to tell you comfort is the enemy. Rest is not the enemy. Steadiness is not the enemy. What you have to choose against is false comfort. The kind that feels like peace but is actually just avoidance wearing a nice outfit. Good morning and welcome to the Daily Acorn. I'm your host, Shauna Kearsley, and today I want to show you what that looks like in the real rooms, real conversations. And one controversy I covered this month that most people got completely backwards. So here's what false comfort actually looks like. 3 shapes. You'll recognize all of them. 1, the silence in the room. What false comfort actually looks like. You had the thought. Everybody could see it on your face. You didn't say it because saying it would have made things awkward for 2 minutes. So you let 2 minutes of comfort cost you your integrity in that room. That is not diplomacy. That is false comfort with better PR. Number 2, the ask that you softened into a suggestion. I've done this one and I work on this one. And for my nonprofit friends, the sponsorship pitch. The number you needed to say out loud, you turned. I need $5,000 into, if you're able to help in any way, we'd appreciate it. A maybe felt safer than a no. But a maybe doesn't fund the summit. A maybe doesn't build anything. You traded the clean ask for the comfortable one. And comfortable doesn't move budgets. So here's another one. The relationship or arrangement that you didn't end. I don't know. We're calling them all kinds of things these days. Frenemies, buddies, pals. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's personal or it's professional. You knew it needed a real conversation and you didn't have it because staying quiet felt like peace. It wasn't peace. It was postponement with a nicer name. Here's the pattern in all 3. False comfort always shows up disguised as something virtuous. It shows up as tact. I'm being tactful. I'm being patient. It shows up as patience. Not wanting to make waves. That's exactly why it is dangerous. Real comfort doesn't need a disguise. Real comfort. I want to talk you through something I actually did, not something I'm telling you to do. So there's a clear backpack policy going in the school district here. So when the clear backpack policy fight broke out, most of the noise in the room was outrage. It was loud. It was immediate. Everybody's picking a side in the first 10 seconds. And I'm not going to say something that's going to sound strange. Most of that outrage was false comfort. Here's why. Outrage feels like courage. It feels like you took a stand. But performing outrage in a room full of people who already agree with you costs nothing. It's the easiest, most comfortable thing a person can do. You get the feeling of having fought for something without the risk of actually saying the specific, unpopular, complicated thing. What was the actual hard thing in that room? It wasn't I'm for the policy or I'm against the policy. The hard thing was naming that the community's outrage was misaligned, that people were furious at the wrong target, defending the wrong version of safety, and that saying that out loud would make me unpopular with people on both sides at once. That's the position that actually costs something, not the courage, the correction. So when I produced that piece, the courage wasn't picking a side. The courage was telling the room, a room full of comfortable, outraged folks, that they'd aimed it wrong. Your aiming is wrong. You're going to miss the target. That's tension first. You don't resolve the tension for people. You name it accurately, even when naming it actually means nobody in the room gets to feel good about their first reaction, yours included. Where this costs you something real. I'm not going to stand here and give you a framework that I'm not living right now. The Harriet Tubman Summit needs fundraising to be the load-bearing priority. Not programming, not vision, fundraising. And the comfortable version of me wants to keep talking about Dr. Fields Black as keynote and the BRIC campaign and the Veterans Gala, because that's the exciting part. That's the part people want to hear. The courageous version has to make the specific ask to the specific person for the specific number and sit in the silence after I say it instead of softening it with no pressure. Whatever works. That's a favorite one. That's this week's actual test, not a metaphor. An email I have to send with a real number in it and no hedge on the end. That's what false comfort would look like for me right now. Talking around the ask instead of making it. So here's what I want you to take from this. Not as a saying, as a check. Somewhere this week, you're going to feel the pull towards the comfortable exit, the unsaid thing, the softened ask, the relationship you don't end, the outrage you perform instead of the position you actually hold. Don't ask yourself if you're comfortable. Ask yourself if it's the real kind or the false kind. Real comfort restores you. False comfort just postpones the bill. Choose comfort over false comfort. Not because you can't do both. Comfort and courage live together just fine. They do. Choose it because false comfort always sends the invoice later with interest. So stay present, my friends, and have a beautiful day. Vulnerability is the new strong. It is. But choose comfort over false comfort. You really and truly can't do both.